For over 5 decades, the Royal Navy has quietly upheld a remarkable commitment, the Continuous At Sea Deterrent. Its constant, unseen patrol ensuring Britain's ultimate security against the gravest threats, designed to deter aggression by guaranteeing a credible second strike capability, a paradox where their existence is meant to prevent their use. Now, as the current Vanguard class nears the end of its long service, the baton is passing to a new generation. Today, we're looking at the future of that silent guardianship, the Dreadnought-class ballistic missile submarine, the very cornerstone of Britain's nuclear deterrent. However, this vital mission is at a crossroads. The current fleet of 4 Vanguard-class ballistic missile submarines, which took on the Continuous At Sea Deterrent role in 1992, are now operating well beyond their original design lifespan. This has led to significant operational and maintenance challenges that, if left unaddressed, could undermine the very credibility of the UK's deterrent. This isn't just about replacing old boats, it's about restoring the unshakable reliability essential for effective deterrence. The Dreadnought programme is the Royal Navy's answer, one of the largest and most complex engineering projects in British history. These new submarines are designed to pick up the baton, ensuring Britain's nuclear posture remains robust and credible for generations to come. The existing Vanguard class that the Dreadnoughts are designed to replace comprises of 4 nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarines: HMS Vanguard, HMS Victorious, HMS Vigilant, and HMS Vengeance. Built between 1986 and 1999 at Barrow-in-Furness, these vessels are specifically engineered to carry the UGM-133 Trident II D5 missiles. Each Vanguard class is around 150 meters long, displacing 16,000 tons submerged, and is powered by a pressurized water reactor 2, PRW2. Since 1998, these 4 submarines have been the sole platform for the UK's nuclear weapons. This makes their operational availability absolutely critical. However, the Vanguards are designed for a 25-year service life, and HMS Vanguard herself is projected to be in service for 37 years by 2030. This extended operational period has led to unprecedented maintenance challenges and significant strain on the fleet. The deep maintenance period for HMS Vanguard at Devonport Naval Dockyard is an extreme example. This refit took an astonishing 7.5 years, 4 years longer than planned, and its final cost exceeded £500 million, more than double its original budget. This protracted and costly overhaul has been described as a textbook example of how not to set up a major project. A key factor in Vanguard's prolonged refit was an unscheduled refueling of its nuclear reactor. This became necessary after a radiation leak was discovered in the cooling circuit of the shore-based HMS Vulcan reactor, which shares the same PWR-2 design as the Vanguard and Astute class submarines. Further compounding these concerns, it emerged in February 2022 that workers had accidentally sheared off at least 7 bolts securing insulation cladding on reactor cooling pipes, and attempted to conceal the mistake by gluing the heads back on. This goes beyond the stupidity of the workers in question. It highlights severe quality control issues during maintenance. These maintenance overruns have created a logistical nightmare, with older boats blocking berths and sometimes submarines reporting to wait up to 2 years or more for necessary work. The prolonged unavailability of submarines like HMS Vanguard has placed immense pressure on the remaining 3 boats to maintain the Continuous At Sea Deterrent. This has resulted in record-breaking patrol lengths, some lasting 5 months or more, far exceeding typical durations. Such extended deployments also carry serious implications for crew morale, retention, and safety standards, increasing the risk of operational errors and a breakdown in discipline. Adding to these concerns, HMS Vanguard experienced a failed Trident missile test in late January 2025, with the missile reportedly landing with a plop right next to them. This marked a second consecutive failure of a UK Trident test firing, severely impacting the perceived reliability and credibility of the UK's nuclear deterrent. The Dreadnought program is a direct and essential response to the aging Vanguard fleet. Its primary purpose is to ensure the uninterrupted continuation of the Continuous At Sea Deterrent well into the 2060s. The decision to proceed was confirmed by a parliamentary vote in July 2016, following initial concept work dating back to 2006 and 2007. The program is managed by the Dreadnought Alliance, a collaborative partnership between the Ministry of Defence's Submarine Delivery Agency, BAE Systems Submarines, and Rolls-Royce Submarines. The Dreadnought class incorporates significant advancements in design and technology. At 153.6 meters long and 17,200 tons displacement, they will be the largest submarines ever operated by the Royal Navy. This increase in size accommodates improved accommodation, enhanced onboard systems, and future-proofing capabilities. A critical advancement lies in the propulsion system. The Dreadnought class will be powered by the Rolls-Royce Pressurized Water Reactor 3, PWR-3, a more effective and advanced system than the previous PWR-2 used in the Vanguard class. The PWR-3 is designed to deliver key benefits, such as simplified operations, a longer service life of between 35 and 40 years, which is a 50% increase over Vanguard, and reduced maintenance costs. This directly addresses the operational maintenance challenges experienced by the PWR-2 reactors in the Vanguard class. New innovations in design will make dreadnoughts even stealthier. They will be the first British submarine to feature X-rudders, which, combined with the very latest pump jet propulsor, are designed to significantly reduce noise, particularly at high speeds, and improve control and safety. The pump jet used is described as the quietest jet. A particularly intriguing stealth innovation is the turbo-electric drive, which harnesses the nuclear reactor to generate electricity, powering an electric motor that drives the pump jet propulsor, allowing it to run extremely quiet. The dreadnoughts will carry 12 Trident II D5 missiles, housed in 3 quad-pack missile compartments. This missile section is part of the joint US-UK program to develop a common missile compartment that can be fitted to both the UK Dreadnought and the US Columbia-class submarines. This collaboration ensures interoperability and shared development costs for the life-extended Trident II D5E missile. Furthermore, significant improvements have been made to the crew accommodations. Each dreadnought will accommodate 130 crew members, including 3 chefs and 1 doctor. A significant step forward for the Royal Navy personnel policies is the inclusion of separate female crew quarters, toilets, and washing facilities, a first for a Royal Navy submarine. Adaptive lighting will simulate day and night conditions on board, another first, alongside modern gym facilities for crew well-being. The Dreadnought program is officially stated to be on track for the first boat, HMS Dreadnought, to enter service in the early 2030s. However, the journey has not been without its challenges and shifts in timelines. An initial parliamentary report from 2011 indicated deferral of the first submarine's delivery from 2024 until 2028. The overall program cost is estimated at a substantial £41 billion. The Ministry of Defence acknowledges that risks remain on the Dreadnought program across the enterprise, notably in infrastructure delivery, the workforce, and the program to replace the UK's nuclear warhead. A significant underlying factor contributing to delays in both the Astute and subsequently the Dreadnought programs was a severe atrophy in key design and production capabilities within the UK's submarine industrial base following the end of the Cold War. A key reason was the 11-year gap between the completion of the last Vanguard class in 1999 and the completion of the first Astute in 2010. The workforce at the Barrow shipyard, a vital national asset, dramatically plummeted from around 13,000 to just 3,000 by 1999. This drastic reduction led to a loss of institutional knowledge and experienced personnel, forcing British Aerospace, now BAE Systems, to redevelop many key capabilities. This rebuilding effort alone has cost billions to get the industrial base back up and running. The Astute class program, intended to replace older attack submarines, itself suffered from numerous difficulties and emergent technical issues that resulted in significant delays and cost overruns. By August 2002, the Astute program was estimated to be over 3 years behind schedule and hundreds of millions of pounds over budget. A 2009 House of Commons Defence Select Committee found that the first Astute class boats were 57 months late and 53% over budget. The handover of HMS Audacious was delayed from 2019 to 2021, and the final boat, HMS Achilles, saw an in-service date slip from 2026 to 2028 or 2029. Both the Astute and Dreadnought submarines are being built at the same BAE Systems shipyard in Barrow-in-Furness. This shared industrial facility means that delays in one program inevitably create bottlenecks and compete for finite resources, particularly skilled labor and shipyard capacity. The glacial series of builds for the Astutes effectively tied up the workforce and facilities that could have been dedicated to Dreadnought. A particularly telling indicator of this strain is the red rating for the core production capability, which is responsible for manufacturing nuclear cores. This rating is primarily due to ongoing challenges associated with achieving the required delivery date for the first Dreadnought submarine nuclear core, while simultaneously delivering the last core for the Astute class of submarines. This explicitly highlights how the demands for the Astute program directly impact the critical path for Dreadnought. Looking ahead, the UK is collaborating with the United States and Australia on the SSN-AUKUS program, which will deliver a new generation of conventionally armed, nuclear-powered attack submarines to replace the Astute class from the late 2030s. This ambitious submarine boom necessitates a huge investment in local shipbuilding. The MOD is committing to a major expansion of the industrial capability, aiming to achieve an unprecedented target of building one new submarine every 18 months in the future. This places further demands on the same industrial base responsible for Dreadnought, creating a single point of strategic vulnerability. The keel of the first boat, HMS Dreadnought, was laid in March 2025, and significant progress has been made, with the hull already joined into a single unit. Work is also well underway on the second boat, HMS Valiant, and steel cutting for the third boat, HMS Warspite, took place in February 2023. Long lead items for the fourth and final boat, HMS King George VI, are currently being procured. The submarines are being built using modular construction methods to optimize the overall build time frame. The Dreadnought class is scheduled to begin to enter service in the early 2030s, taking over the Continuous At Sea Deterrent role from the Vanguard class. These four submarines are designed for an extended service life of between 35 and 40 years, ensuring the UK's Continuous At Sea Deterrent will be maintained well into the 2060s and beyond. The Dreadnoughts will serve as the cornerstone for the UK's nuclear deterrence, providing a modern, efficient and survivable platform vital for national security. The journey has been fraught with significant challenges. The Royal Navy has grappled with immense operational and maintenance strain in the aging Vanguard fleet, evidenced by extended refits, reactor issues, and even highly publicised missile test failures. These issues are symptoms of a deeper systemic problem rooted in past policy decisions regarding defence industry strategy and sustained investment. The gap in production and the loss of key skills from the post-Cold War era directly contributed to the Astute delays, which in turn impacted the Dreadnought program, costing billions to rebuild the necessary capabilities. The Dreadnought program itself has faced initial timeline shifts and continues to navigate complex industrial hurdles, most notably the lingering impact of this lost shipbuilding expertise and the concurrent demands of the Astute SSN program. The shared industrial base and workforce at Barrow have created bottlenecks, with the core production capability remaining a key risk due to the simultaneous demands of both classes. Looking ahead, the ambitious SSN-AUKUS program will further test the capacity and resilience of the UK's submarine industrial base, demanding sustained financial and human capital investment. Despite these formidable challenges, the commitment to the nuclear deterrent remains absolute. Significant investments are being made in the infrastructure, technology, and crucially in shipbuilding and expanding the skilled workforce necessary for this national endeavour. The Dreadnought programme is a testament to the UK's determination to maintain its strategic independence and ensure its place as a leading global power for generations to come. I choose to look at the story of the Dreadnought-class submarines with hope. A chance to properly fund a resurgence in the UK's submarine service. This includes rebuilding the industrial base and resolving the recruitment challenges that has arisen from decades of neglect. What are your thoughts on the Dreadnought's journey and its critical role in the UK's future? Let us know in the comments below.